Welcome back to Drunk Storytime with Quefish. I'm Quefish. This is the drunk fucky plum wine, and it is delicious. And we are reading from Not That Bad When You Get Used to It by Chamyl. Which makes me laugh because I've been kind of on purpose accidentally, but it started out accidentally mispronouncing Chamyl. And then it was that I couldn't remember what they had told me. And it turned into a wonderful back and forth in the comments of trying to write out the worst pronunciation possible. That included the CH instead being pronounced like the CH in loch, like a Scottish loch. And but I believe I have it right now. For once. It's Chamyl. And it is important. So, this prompt, chapter 25, housework, titled Master Crowley. That's going to be fun. So, it's a thing humans do. Apparently, Crowley shrugs. For example, I could pretend to be a delivery man, come here with a package for you, and you could answer the door in your bathrobe pretending you just got out of the shower. He seems lost in thought for a long moment before continuing. Obviously, we'd have to act like total strangers. Oh dear. Aziraphale twists the ring around his pinky. And whatever would we do with the package? Oh my god. See, this is why you don't do the pizza delivery man, because Aziraphale would just want to eat the pizza. What would we do with the package? I have no idea. Crowley jumps to his feet, circling the room. Doesn't have to be that. Could be, say, I could be a plumber coming over to fix your sink. Despite the suggestive way Crowley says the last three words and the pointed arch of his right eyebrow. I can only do my left one. Aziraphale winces. Oh, just the thought of all the horrible goo plumbers deal with makes my stomach turn. Really, Crowley, not enticing at all. The demon groans, rolling his eyes. What if? Aziraphale begins to say, his uncertain tone immediately gaining Crowley's undivided attention. Not for the first time, the angel wonders whether his lover knows how similar to a snake eyeing his prey he can look sometimes when he forgets himself. Not that he minds. What if we pretended this was your home instead of my bookshop, and I came over to clean for you? He clears his throat and adds tentatively, Master Crowley. Crowley looks at him as if he's just been slapped across the face and found out he liked it. Oh, fuck. They start in the kitchen. Crowley walks in while Aziraphale is washing dishes. This is not going to end well, is it? He leans seductively against the counter, then he looks down into the sink. Are you washing clean dishes? What? No, of course not, Master Crowley. Aziraphale hears a faint sound coming straight from Crowley's throat. The dishes are actually clean, but that's not the point here, is it? Oh, but I'm afraid I'm not very good at this. Aziraphale purrs as he splashes water across his not coincidentally white shirt. Look at that. God, no. I've made quite a mess of myself. Let me help you out of that, Angel, before you get cold. Crowley takes a step forward and fiddles with the first button of Aziraphale's shirt, then seems to change his mind and applies his tongue to a nipple through the sheer damp fabric. Oh, yes, yes, my darling. Aziraphale sinks a hand into Crowley's hair, arching his back ever so slightly and moaning softly, enjoying the feeling of the demon's tongue lapping at him through the shirt. Just as he's starting to get into it, he hears a horrible sputtering and choking noise and looks down horrified. Soap. Crowley explains, unrolling his impressively long tongue out of his mouth as if to show him. Tastes disgusting. Maybe we should try something else. And dish soap on top of that. That liquid just doesn't go away. Aziraphale climbs on top of the ladder and begins to dust the highest shelves, making sure the angle is perfect for Crowley to have a full view of his ass where he's lounging on the sofa. Oh my, I'm afraid this will take a while, he whines, looking back at Crowley over his shoulder and batting his eyelashes. I'm just all over the not right words. Is that all right, Master Crowley? Crowley says, not a problem at all. Take all the time you need, Angel. Aziraphale turns back and resumes dusting. He soon realizes that, now that he's paying attention to it, there is quite a lot of actual cleaning he should be doing around this place. He gets down from the ladder, feather duster in hand, and goes to stand between Crowley's open knees. Anything else you'd like me to clean, Master? He presses the feather duster against Crowley's crotch. The demon grins, and Aziraphale continues dusting up along his stomach, across his chest, up to his chin. Crowley's sneeze is so loud it reverberates through the bookshop, leaving splatters of spit all over Aziraphale's trousers. Sorry. Aziraphale drops the feather duster and sighs. Oh, my dear. This doesn't seem to be working out at all. He looks down at the sorry state of his clothes. I think I'm going to change and get some real cleaning done, if you don't mind. The shop might need it. Crowley grimaces. Yeah, okay. And yes, it really does. As Aziraphale leaves, he chooses to ignore Crowley muttering to himself. Been saying that for about 200 years now. It's always been very easy for Aziraphale to immerse himself completely in whatever he's doing and forget the world, whether he's reading a book, baking a cake, or filing his taxes. Therefore, he's not surprised to find out he actually quite enjoys using the vacuum cleaner. He doesn't even mind the noise it makes. He takes great pride in how clean his carpets and floor look once he's done with them. And he makes sure to do this properly, paying attention to the corners, cleaning all along the walls, pushing his stuff out of the way so he can get around and under the furniture. He even lifts an armchair off the floor one-handed so he can vacuum underneath it. Realizes Crowley was sitting on it only when he hears a remarkably embarrassing sound from somewhere above his head. He peers up, and sure enough, Crowley is clinging to the armchair, blushing up to his ears. What? Oh, is this working for you? Yep. Crowley nods, quickly glancing back down at him and then looking away, as if the sight alone of an angel lifting him from the ground like he weighs nothing at all is too much for him to handle. Why? Aziraphale says, smiling as he abandons the vacuum on the floor. I was just thinking of relocating this armchair to the bedroom. What do you say, Master Crowley? Shall I bring it over there, perhaps? I think that would be an excellent idea, Angel. I love strong Aziraphale. I love him. Chapter 26, The Naked Truth. Prompt drugs. I'm going to read this note, which is, if this is a triggering subject for you, please know that I went a completely different direction. While it's mentioned that Aziraphale took something, the effects on him are very different than it would be on a human, and in fact this got very fluffy on me very soon. And ask away if there's any questions. What did you take? I don't know, Aziraphale whines, adjusting his cravat. It's 1969, and as Crowley very well knows, there's a vast array of drugs the angel could have ingested. Well, think, he barks, leading him out the sketchy establishment he found him in and unceremoniously stuffing him into the Bentley. He sits in the driver's seat and hits the gas pedal with the wrath of an angry god. And Crowley would know a thing or two about that. Human drugs don't have the same effect on us. You should know that at this point. You might grow a tail for all I know. A tail? Aziraphale looks seriously offended at the prospect, probably because it would rip his pants. But Crowley sees him out of the corner of his eye, discreetly sliding a hand between his back and the seat to check. And anyway, this isn't my fault. How is it not your fault? Were you peer pressured by some human born 20 years ago? Whenever I get into trouble, you always come to rescue me, so excuse me for not worrying too much. Aziraphale's eyes widen and he slaps both hands over his mouth. Crowley hears a panicked, "Oh dear," muffled by the angel's fingers, but he's too busy almost driving the car off a bridge to take notice. He stops as soon as he's able to, in a dark, tiny alley where they won't be disturbed. "Excuse me, what was that?" he asks, a hand on the back of Aziraphale's seat. "I didn't mean to say that." Aziraphale has the face of a man-shaped being who, as many before him, has just realized drugs might not be as fun as he first thought. "It just slipped out." Crowley takes off his glasses to be able to look at him more closely. Could whatever drugs Aziraphale has taken have a truth serum effect on him? Before he can take a good look at the angel, Aziraphale cups his face in his hand. "Oh, such beautiful, beautiful eyes. I don't tell you enough." The angel's thumb traces his bottom lip, and Crowley forgets how to breathe altogether. "I've always wondered what it would be like to kiss you." Aziraphale's eyes look dazed for a few more seconds before he pulls away, horrified. I didn't mean I didn't mean to say it right now, but I did mean what I said." "Oh, bugger." "Right," Crowley says, his tongue suddenly too big for his mouth as he puts his glasses back on. "Hallucinations it is, then. Or delirium. I'm taking you home and cracking open a bottle until you sort yourself out." I hope that he just means he's going to crack open a bottle for himself, because I'm not entirely sure that would be good to layer on top of whatever he took. "Hallucinations? Delirium?" Aziraphale asks over the loud roar of the Bentley. "No, Crowley, you've got it all wrong. I just can't stop myself from saying the truth." Crowley rolls down the window, the wind whooshing in the car, and turns the radio all the way up. "Can't hear you," he shouts over a good old-fashioned lover boy. Speaking of which, he shoots his own car a death stare in the vague direction of the dashboard. Aziraphale keeps yapping away all the way to the bookshop. The wind and the music can't stop Crowley from overhearing an array of embarrassing confessions. They pass by the river, and Aziraphale tells him about that time he got so drunk he stumbled right into the Thames and sneezed so hard he scared all the birds in a mile-wide radius. Crowley tries hard not to laugh. They turn by a fancy tailor shop, and Aziraphale remembers the time Gabriel dragged him in there for advice, and he had to quickly explain to his boss that he had to manifest a dick and a pair of balls immediately if he wanted to pass off as human. Crowley coughs loudly, trying not to give away how fucking hilarious that sounds. They drive by a bookshop that is well known to host a licensed sex shop downstairs, and Aziraphale confesses candidly that one time he walked in to browse books and walked out with as many sex toys as he could carry. And being a strong angel, he could carry a lot. Crowley's ears burn and he stubbornly pretends not to have heard. The angel goes on to tell him he gave himself rug burns by pleasuring himself too hard on the carpet in the back room. And Crowley realizes he'll never be able to look at that ugly carpet the same way again. I seem to always end up thinking about you when it happens. Did you know? Aziraphale says this with the air of someone who's talking about the weather. No matter how hard I try not to, when I forget myself, I always picture it's you touching me. Crowley parks in front of the bookshop and stumbles out like a castaway touching land. Sleep now, he orders, leading Aziraphale by an elbow while the angel mutters apologies and exclamations of surprise at the things he's just said. When Aziraphale passes out on the couch, mumbling sleepy protests under the blanket Crowley threw on him, the demon sits on the farthest possible armchair and tries to stare down his raging erection. So far, the erection is winning. God. The next morning, Aziraphale wakes up to a pounding headache. He'll stick to alcohol from now on, thank you very much. He finds Crowley asleep on one of his armchairs, his head tilted back, his mouth open, snoring softly. He feels a wave of affection so strong for the demon that he has trouble smothering it down. But no further embarrassing confessions spill out of his mouth, so he figures he's finally in the clear. Well, except for all the things he's already said. Crowley blinks himself awake, stares at him in confusion. Everything all right? About what I said yesterday. I didn't hear a thing, Crowley lies, and Aziraphale knows perfectly well he's lying. Music was too loud. You were speaking nonsense. The wind was very strong, and you know how I drive. He gives Aziraphale a half-crooked smile, eyes crinkling at the corners. Thank you, Crowley. You really are a gentleman. Well, gentle demon, sometimes. Before his courage leaves him, he leans down and kisses Crowley smack on the lips. Oh, sorry, Aziraphale says, fluttering away from the demon and towards his desk. Must still have some drugs in my system. That's so funny. Okay, and 27 October. All right, now Chamyl warns to have read the tags on the series. I've read all of the tags, and I mean, because there's quite a mishmash. So I have read them. Now what? October. Aziraphale makes an indignant noise even as he keeps trailing kisses along the graceful line of Crowley's throat, all the way down until his lips brush the delicate notch between the demon's sharp clavicles. He grumbles irritably as he opens the buttons of Crowley's black silk pajamas one by one. This may be a somnophilia, but I don't know. With the shirt out of the way, the palms of his hands caress slowly the coarse hair on the demon's chest and the warm, smooth skin down his sides. Honestly, he sighs, flicking his tongue over a pert nipple as he presses a thigh between Crowley's legs. The demon's cock is already rock hard against him. I can't believe you sometimes. He stops to take off his old-fashioned nightgown, the object of Crowley's gentle mockery for a few years now. Aziraphale has never heard him complain about what's underneath, though. Not even once. He strips to his underpants, then hooks his fingers in the waistbands of Crowley's bottoms and boxers, tugging both away in one smooth, practiced motion. Crowley's cock springs out, standing proud and glistening at the tip, and the sight of it makes Aziraphale's mouth water. He struggles to keep his gaze on the demon's face as he drags the fabric down his endless, lovely legs. Gorgeous, Aziraphale huffs out, frowning. But still, appalling behavior on your part. He takes the demon's cock in his mouth and hears himself making an obscene moan around it. For all his protests, he's missed Crowley very much, and the smell of him goes straight to his head like fine liquor. He groans again as he chokes himself on it, his own cock straining in his underwear, aching for relief. He massages Crowley's balls as he sucks him off, then takes him firmly in hand to keep him still as he eagerly licks away at the head. He keeps making disapproving, annoyed noises, even as he enthusiastically relaxes his throat to take him all the way inside his mouth, swallowing the salty, musky taste of him. Crowley's breathing is fast and shallow, some languid moans escaping his lips as the angel works him exactly as he knows he likes. Oh, I can't take this anymore. Aziraphale pushes his own underpants away, focuses on a quick miracle, and pushes a finger inside himself, finding his entrance slick and open and empty. Look what you've done. He doesn't wait for a reply as he turns around and raises himself on his knees, his back to Crowley, and slowly begins the delicious work of sinking onto the demon's cock. Oh, Crowley. He balances with his hands on Crowley's knees as he rolls his hips, quickly finding his angle and going at it with all the desperate frustration of the past few months, words falling off his lips at every thrust. Yes, my darling, my dearest, you're perfect. Fuck, I'm not going to last, Crowley. He takes himself in hand just as he begins to come, long white spurts all over the demon's legs and the black bed sheets underneath. Come on now, he pants, breathless, still moving despite the threat of oversensitivity stinging with every movement. I need to feel you finish inside me. Please, Crowley, please don't make me wait anymore. Crowley's knees jerk underneath him and Aziraphale hears him grunting just as he feels the warm wetness of the demon's cum inside him. He closes his eyes to enjoy the feeling for a long moment, stays there until Crowley's cock begins to soften inside him. Then he pulls himself up, cleans them with a snap of his fingers, and comes to lie down next to Crowley, who's smiling in his sleep. I knew it. Having barely moved an inch since it all started. You're lucky I love you so much, Aziraphale grumbles, pulling the covers over them both and nestling his head on the demon's shoulder. Really? Who says you won't bother me, Angel? Just go right ahead. It will give me very nice dreams. You're impossible. I'm outraged. Aziraphale yawns loudly, eyes fluttering closed even as he tries to keep fighting. He continues mumbling as he falls asleep. Unbearable. You are shameless. Wily tempter, demon, terrible. But Crowley just smiles, no doubt lost in some very nice dream. I had a feeling. I do like me some somnophilia. That does make you wonder, what would he be dreaming about? I mean, he wouldn't know the specifics of what was happening to him. Anyway, thank you for joining me. See you next time.